Hello and welcome to a presentation on a new science called biohacking. And today I'm going to just explore a little bit about how to biohack your own life. And what that means is optimizing your body, your mind performance by altering your gene structure, the very building blocks of who you actually are. My name is Gail Pearson. I'm a medically trained doctor working in private practice in Auckland. My specialty is human pharmacology and human physiology. Now, as you can see when I'm at work, I have lots of monitors. So I monitor human variables such as heart rate, blood pressure, pulse, CO2, watch what the surgeon's doing as well. And so I've got a very good feel about how pharmaceutical drugs interact with the human body and the body processes. When I work, I make people unconscious, I paralyze them, I make them pain-free, nausea and vomiting-free. So I do a lot of interventions that I see immediate results in terms of what I've given, either be it intravenously or orally. So that's my background. And, you know, I know I'm medically trained, but I really think we need to look at what the best doctors actually are. It's not going to medical school. The first one is fresh air, clean water, sunshine, all environmental factors, restful sleep, healthy diet and moderate exercise, all personal factors. Those are really important to live a healthy and vital and well life. So those are the things that you should be doing every day because those are the things that are going to enhance your vitality the most. But today, I'm going to show you the seventh doctor. And that's about biohacking. And this is the future. This is the future of how you can actually get that edge. How can you actually push yourself to the next level? How can you actually rejuvenate yourself and reverse the process of aging? Now, in my practice every day, oxygen is my most important drug that I use. Why is it important? Well, we know that we need oxygen to breathe. We know that if we don't have it, we die. When we combine that with food, what do we get? We get energy. We get energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That gives the body energy for the processes that it requires, be that making of enzymes, be that making of proteins, be that making of another cell, be that making of a regeneration of organs, etc. So very, very important energy every single day in every single cell. The byproduct of this, though, is oxygen-free radicals. So all of these processes, although they produce energy, they also produce a byproduct, which is called an oxygen-free radical. Now, if we look at a healthy oxygen atom on the left, we can see that it's balanced. It's got 2 electrons in its outer shell. It's happy. It'll produce a normal cell. When you've got an oxygen-free radical, it's unbalanced. It's missing an electron in its outer shell. It's unstable. What happens when we have an unstable free radical? They attack cells. As you can see on the left, we have a normal cell, a lovely round margin, inside looks gorgeous. In the middle, free radicals attacking a cell. It's distorted. The organelles are coming out. It's not going to produce a normal cell. When we were young, so before the age of 25, 30, our gene expression is able to cope with that. So we've got the enzymes, the antioxidant enzymes, that we can actually rejuvenate ourselves. And we know that. So we know that when we're young, we can have a fall and jump up and run and keep going on the playground. But as you get older, that gets much, much harder. And as you get older, your gene expression changes. Remember, as a child, it was level. As you become an adult, we've got your genes that you've inherited from your mother and your father expressing themselves, whether they be conditions that are inherited, they're now showing more. You can reduce this gene expression with good diet, healthy living, exercise, but as an adult, you have not got that capability as you did when you were younger. And this is called aging. Let's add to that these days the environmental, the physical, and the psychological stresses. So environmental, what have we got here that is different these days than what it was 100 years ago? We've got Wi-Fi, we've got pesticides, we've got herbicides, we've got additives, be they additives in our food, be they additives in our clothing, be they additives in our houses. These are products which are artificial, which were not around 100 years ago. Physical stresses, they could be things like over-exercising. They could be things like emotional stresses, like a bad relationship, a bad job. Life is difficult. We live in a toxic environment these days, and we've got to do something differently. We have to do something differently, because otherwise we are going to age very quickly, and we're not going to be fit and well and healthy until we're in our old age. So what happens when we have a lack of antioxidant enzymes? So if we add those things I've just talked about, the environmental stress, the physiological stress, and the toxins, what happens? We get more free radicals, more cell damage, and more aging effects. And life is all about balance. And so when we get so many free radicals that we can no longer neutralize them, we suffer what's called oxidative stress. Now, when we're younger, we don't get oxidative stress because our oxygen-free radicals are neutralized. We're able to produce our own antioxidant enzymes. When we get older, the balance changes. What are the effects? It affects every single organelle of the body. It starts at the cell level, which cells make up tissues, then make up organs, and they make up systems of our body. For example, the skin is the largest organelle in our body. What happens as we get older? The texture changes. We get loss of moisture. We get wrinkling. We see the effects of aging. We see the effects of oxidative stress. Remember, oxidative stress damages cells. If we look at the free radical process on the right, we see a cell with oxidative stress, which is unhealthy and will not replicate normally. So how can we address this balance? We've talked about having a healthy lifestyle, eating plenty of fruit and vegetables, or taking antioxidant supplements. But today I want to talk to you about why should we take our antioxidants when we can actually make them ourselves. Make them ourselves, relying on each cell in our body to access the pathways that are already there, but reactivating them, awakening those pathways so that they actually do their functioning as they did when we were younger. The specific pathway that we need to do this is called the NrF2 pathway. This is new. This wasn't around when I was at medical school. You'll find most doctors don't know what the NrF2 pathway is. It's specific to cell function. And if you look at this, which is what really, really piqued my enthusiasm and passion about this NrF2 activation. This is a study from Washington State University in 2015. NrF2 may well be the most extraordinary, therapeutic, and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. We have not had this since the advent of penicillin. This is huge. This is a new science. This is a new way of looking at things, and it is big. And this is the way of the future. If we look at exactly how much Protandim activates on the NrF2 pathway, 4 graphs. Let's look at the one on the bottom right, which has got broccoli on it. If you look at the axis that goes vertically, we see from 0 to 140. And the curve, the broccoli comes up to about just over 20 or so of its maximum. We know broccoli and greens are good for you, and we know that they work by the NrF2 pathway. Let's look at the upper left comparatively. Same scale, Protandim. 140-fold induction of NrF2 potency. It's huge. So we know that Protandim has the ability to activate that pathway much more than anything else that we currently have. We know that blueberries are good for us, but they work on a one-to-one basis, and same as red wine works on a one-to-one basis. To get the equivalent NrF2 activation, we'd be having to have something like 9 punnets of blueberries a day, 89 glasses of red wine. Not going to happen. NrF2 activation, 1,000,000 to 1, because you're working at the cellular level to make your own antioxidant enzymes. So the whole new science is called Nutrigenomics. Break that down: nutrition and genomics. The study of effects of food and food compounds on gene expression. So this is where we're heading in the future. We are going to be looking how to change our gene structure by using natural products or nutritions, just as we have in years gone past. It's topical. Articles in the Listener, articles in Time magazine. DNA is not your destiny. We can change it. Everyone in the past thought that DNA was fixed. What you had been given is what you got. We now know that we have got the ability to be able to manipulate that DNA so that we can actually change things for the better, and we can alter your body processes by getting down to the genetic level. What if we could get back to this? What if we could get back to a way when we were younger, that we can regenerate ourselves? We don't have the effects of aging. Wouldn't that be great? Now, it's important to know that this science of nutrigenomics is activation. It's not supplementation. And I know that a lot of people go to health food shops and they buy supplements and they think they probably just weed them out. This is different. This is activation. So what's the difference between activation and supplementation? Well, supplementation, basically you're guessing. There's not product-specific research, there's lack of quality control, and you don't actually know what the end result is in gene expression. This is Protandim. There's been over 26 published PubMed product-specific studies done on this product alone. Now, for any natural product to have this is huge. And as you can see from the list here, Ohio State, American Physiological Society, University of Colorado, Harvard University, American Aging Association, Louisiana State University, and all of the journals, reputable journals that are in the States that has been published in. So it has the science. So we now have science behind a compound that is completely natural. So let's have a look at how it works. Now, if we look at the human cell, what I've done is a little bit of a schematic diagram of the human cell. It has a lot of organelles, there are a lot of processes, it's an extremely complex machine, everything interacts. But basically what I'm going to talk about today is a nucleus, which is the round purple thing that's on the left-hand side, and the mitochondria, or the orange little beans that are up on the right top there. Now, the nucleus contains your DNA. Now, your DNA is your expression of who you are. You get half from your mother and you get half from your father. The DNA is made up of building blocks, and those building blocks are called genes. And it's at these genetic level that we can change the way that your DNA is expressed. The mitochondria, or the little orange beans up the top, are the breathing part of the cell. They're responsible for the energy processes. They produce energy for the cell. And if you don't have normal mitochondria, you don't get normal replication of cells, and your cells die or are disfigured. So the first biohack I'm going to talk about is Protandim NrF2. Now, this has been shown in a study in the US to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. Remember, oxidative stress is the imbalance of not being able to produce enough oxygen antioxidant enzymes against oxygen reactive species, or oxygen free radicals. So what they did is they did a study in America, and they took 30 people and they took blood tests every single day from these people for oxidative stress while on Protandim. At the end of 30 days, every single person, be they 80 or be they 30, had a reduction in oxidative stress by 40%. We know that oxidative stress is responsible for huge numbers of conditions these days. It's big, and it's exciting, and it's all natural. So let's have a look to see exactly what's in it. Turmeric. Well, we know that turmeric's a great antioxidant. Milk thistle, we know that that's a great liver cleanser. Green tea extract, an antioxidant. Turmeric also is an anti-inflammatory. Bacopa and ashwagandha are good for hormonal balance, they're good for mental clarity, they're good for focus. So what they've done is they've put these all together to try and find the ultimate NrF2 activation with these natural products. And if you look at this graph here, if you look at the right, on the right-hand side, the big red bar, what we can see is the products together are 18 times more effective than the individual agents alone. So if you went to the health food shop and you took all those individual agents and tried to put it together, it's not going to work. They have to be in the specific quantities to be able to get the NrF2 activation in the cells. Now, NrF2 is a protein that actually sits around on the cell wall. And what Protandim does is it comes up to the cell wall, it stimulates that protein, the protein is released from the cell wall, series of chemical reactions, it goes to the nucleus, and it tells the nucleus what the DNA and the genetic expression has to do in order to make antioxidant enzymes, as well as regulate over 300 other genes. So it's a master gene regulator. It's not just the antioxidant enzymes that it creates, it's regulating huge numbers of other genes as well. So this is a new science, and it is incredible. So you might say, well, what are the effects? Most people will find that their sleep improves. And their sleep quality improves. It doesn't mean that you get a longer sleep, but you actually get a better sleep. Aches and pains in the body are improved. Your mood seems to increase. Your liver function is improved. Your digestive system is better. In athletes, their performance and recovery is improved because NrF2 activation increases your levels of glutathione. And glutathione is really important in athletes because they are depleted of it with lots of exercise. It increases glutathione by 300%. So what athletes are finding is that they get faster personal best times, they recover from injury faster, and they feel much more inclined to be able to perform at their best for longer periods. Less brain fog, and also protects against oxidative stress. So let's have a look at the second biohack. And remember, we talked about in the human cell, the mitochondria, the breathing part of the cell. This is NrF1 with a silver label. This supports mitochondrial health to make sure that the cells are healthy, that they produce the enzymes and the proteins that promote ultimate cell health, and that they replicate normally. We know that the mitochondria are especially important in those cells or organs that have high energy production. For example, something like the heart would have 5,000 mitochondria per cell. So they're extremely important in our cellular health. Again, what is it made up of? All natural ingredients: acetylcarnitine, which is an amino acid, coenzyme Q10, grape extract, quercetin, and alpha-lipoic acid. There's no gluten, wheat, dairy, or yeast in any of these products. And what we're finding with the NrF1 is that basically the energy levels are improved because it's working at a cellular level in every cell in the body and improves your general well-being, especially good for those people who have got extremely stressful lives. So what we've covered is NrF2 synergizer at the genetic level in the nucleus, and we've covered NrF1 energizer at the mitochondrial level. Together, they're called a dual synergizer. And this is the ultimate in cellular health and protection. And I'm so passionate about it. I want everyone to be on this. I want everyone to be able to maintain their vitality. I want everybody to be able to jump out of bed in the morning rather than having aches and pains. I want everybody to be able to do what they want to do or what they want to achieve, whether that be a walk for an extra hour, whether that be dancing, whether that be playing tennis again, whether that be skiing again, leading an active life so that you don't have to be bogged down by medical conditions. You can actually lead the life that you really truly want to do forever. And I've just put up 10 reasons why you should NrF1 and NrF2 activated. Oxidative stress is not going to go away. We live in that toxic environment. It's not going to get any better. Nothing else reduces oxidative stress like Protandim does. And you can't consume enough to be able to reduce that oxidative stress. We talked about the glutathione increasing. We talked about deep restful sleep, no drugs. Downregulation of inflammatory genes. Only once a day. Tablets once a day. That's all you have to do. A huge ratio of its effectiveness compared to food. And the National Institute of Aging, interestingly, showed a 7% increase in lifespan in mammals. And it's cost effective. But to me, I think the one reason why you should NrF2 and NrF1 activate is Why not? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take something that's natural, that's been scientifically proven, that is going to give you the health and vitality to live the life that you really surely would want to lead? Now, Thomas Edison was a very smart man. He said, the doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but will rather cure and prevent disease with nutrition. And that's what we're going back to. We're going back to letting the body heal itself. We're going back to awakening those processes that the body knows how to do and saying, come on, we can live better. We can live a healthier life. We can do this in a different way. And that's the exciting thing. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. So today we've talked a little bit about biohacking. We've talked about nutrigenomics, and we've talked about NrF2 activation. And I hope it's been helpful for you. Now, LifeVantage does not claim to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. We are here to help people live a healthy and well life. And the more people I can get out and get to do that, the more successful I feel I've been as a medical doctor. Thank you very much.